எட்டு எட்டா மனுஷ வாழ்வை பிரிச்சுக்க.
Super 8 will start this week.
கலைய நல்லா இருக்குல்ல அழுடா
India and USA have now made it from that pool. And it was a shocker to see Pakistan out, but they didn't play well enough to make it.
என்ன குடல்லாம் எரியுது, வயிறு அப்படியே இழுத்து பிடிக்குது, தலை சுத்தி மயக்கமா வருது. அதனால என்ன செத்துருவேனா?
Critical games happen and then good teams get knocked out because of it. Is very unfortunate.
June is the month of rains in the Caribbean. So I think the timing of the tournament was not good at all.
மேடம் இந்த பக்கம் பார்த்தா சோன்னு மலை, இந்த பக்கம் பார்த்தா சோன்னு மலை, சரி பின்னால திரும்பி பாப்போமேன்னு பார்த்தா அந்த பக்கமும் மலை.
Very, very pathetic performance by Sri Lanka in the group.
சொல்றேன் கொட்டுங்க கொட்டு கொட்டு நல்லா கொட்டு. அவன் படுத்து பல நாள் ஆச்சு, வைத்திய செலவு பண்ண இல்லாம உட்கார வச்சிட்டு இருக்க.
I think Australia is the tougher game.
ஆஸ்திரேலியாக்காரனை பத்தி தெரியாதுடி, அவன் எல்லாம் பைத்தியக்காரங்கடி. அடிச்சானா ஒத்த கால வச்சு அடிச்சான் பாத்தியா, பைத்தியக்காரங்க அடிச்சு போவாங்கடி.
Welcome to another episode of the Couch Coaches. And this week, எட்டு எட்டா மனுஷ வாழ்வை பிரிச்சுக்க. It's the 2020 World Cup, the second half. Over to you, Priyesh.
Hi, we are in the last days of the league. I think the Super 8 will start this week from tomorrow.
கலைய நல்லா இருக்குல்ல அழுடா.
What we are going to do is we are going to have an overall analysis of the league stage, see all the groups and who qualified and who are the outliers and who are out. Second, we will go to the coach corner to view India's upcoming matches in the Super 8 and where they play and whom they play with. Okay, so to start off, we will go to the overall analysis now with Team India and their group, the Group A. Over to you, Rama.
See, overall, it's been a very interesting World Cup. I was first wondering, எதுக்குடா வந்து யாரெல்லாமோ பிடிச்சி எழுத்துன்னு வந்திருக்கேங்கன்னு நினச்சேன். Having these 4 pools with 5 teams and these countries you have never heard of, right?
முல்ல 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 தத்தா ஏங்க வாங்கனே வந்து கட்டுப்படி நேருங்க, வண்டி மூவ் ஆகிட்டு இருக்கா இல்லையா?
But it's been a pleasant surprise. Many of these countries have pushed and caused a lot of interesting twists and turns. So first for India's pool, we had India, Pakistan, we had USA, and then we had, who else did we have? Canada, yeah. And it was, India had an interesting thing that they didn't have to travel much. So all the games happened only in one location, which I think there's a bit of questions being asked. And India played reasonably well.
உன்னை அடிக்கிறது 5 நிமிஷம் கிடையாது, 110 கிலோ வெயிட் தூக்குற அந்த லாரன்ஸ் உன்னை அடிக்கிறது பெருசு கிடையாது.
I think I wouldn't say the pitch was weird in New York. There are so many games it could have gone the other way around. And India and USA have now made it from that pool. And it was a shocker to see Pakistan out, but they didn't play well enough to make it.
நான் பாட்டுக்கு செவனேன்னு இருந்தேன், என் கிட்ட வந்து பாம்பு அடிச்சு காட்டுறேன்னு சொல்லி இப்படி என்ன தொட்டில் கட்டி படுக்க வச்சியாடா.
I mean, you can't rely on the rain or blame the rain when you lost to USA in the first game.
என்ன குடல்லாம் எரியுது, வயிறு அப்படியே இழுத்து பிடிக்குது, தலை சுத்தி மயக்கமா வருது. அதனால என்ன செத்துருவேனா?
உனக்கு அமையுது, எனக்கு அமையல.
அமைய வைக்கணுமாமே,
அமையாது.
And I think 130 plus was the highest score in New York. And I think India's chase against Canada or Ireland was the highest run chase in the ground. So 110 was the highest run chase in the ground. So it was கொஞ்சம் under 15 scores மாதிரி இருந்தது. But I don't know. I mean, ICC should take a note of two things. One, if they want drop in pitches, it has to be curated at least for 12 months or 15 months so that they can settle down the pitches and then we have a good game. And then they are also, I have to see, they have, I think, spent 30 million in the New York stadium.
ஒரு கோடி செலவழிச்சு கல்யாணம் நின்று வச்சப்ப ஒரு கோடிப்ப நீ பார்த்த ஆமாப்ப ஒரு கோடிப்ப இந்த இத்து போன 4 வாழத்தாருக்கு 1 கோடி ரூபாய் வகுத்தரிச்சப்ப 1 கோடி.
Okay,
they're going to tear it down.
And they will tear it down. I saw a meme that it is a dog park on the Murray. 30 million spent பண்ணிட்டு the drainage was very poor, the pitch was very poor, and only the India-Pakistan game was a full house.
எவ்வளவு கூட்டம் இன்னைக்கு கலெக்ஷன் எகிரி.
And I don't know the revenue share, but if you see the Florida game, the drainage was super waste.
Simply waste.
எந்த பயனும் இல்ல.
I think Florida was what made it worse. New York, even though there was rain, delayed starts a little bit here and there, the game still happened. But Florida being washed out for critical games.
Yeah.
The Namibia-England game was washed out, even though that was not Florida, that was probably
West Indies. Yeah.
But they have to figure out this way because critical games happen and then good teams get knocked out because of it. Is very unfortunate.
We will see much more rain in the Super 8 because June is the month of rains in the Caribbean. So I think the timing of the tournament was not good at all.
மேடம் இந்த பக்கம் பார்த்தா சோன்னு மலை, இந்த பக்கம் பார்த்தா சோன்னு மலை. சரி பின்னால திரும்பி பாப்போமேன்னு பார்த்தா அந்த பக்கமும் மலை.
So maybe 25% of the Super 8 will be a shortened game or maybe abandoned also. So we have to see. So they have ICC should see what they want to do. It is good that they are expanding the game and USA came and beat Pakistan. All that is good. Okay. But,
Ireland was a little disappointing though. After watching them in the 50-over World Cup and a few other areas, I thought they'll be pushing teams around, but they seem to be the
pitch. You can't do anything. So the worry is about the pitch. So you can't finger point any player or any team as such. But the adaptability of Ireland was poor. But if you see, I mean, 5 or 6 or 7 players play around the world in franchisee leagues. But to adapt the pitch was I think was a bummer for any teams or all the teams on the Murray.
But I tell you, I actually enjoyed the pitch being in some ways like this to reduce the batsmen. IPL பார்த்து டமால் அடிச்சு it was good to at least see some kind of respite for the bowlers. And games were all close games, right? And it became very interesting that chasing down 40 in 6 overs was beginning to be hard. Anything can happen. So in that way, it brought the balance back. So you are right that they have to be a little reasonable in these pitches and curation and everything. But favoring the bowlers is not a bad thing. I think we need
no way. I'm not advocating a 200 pitch. At least a 150, 160 pitch it will be good. And keep people also quiet. Otherwise, so to Group B now. So we have Australia, England, Scotland,
அப்புறம் 2 தத்தி Namibia.
And a rain affected game with for England versus Scotland.
But actually, one thing, not that the whole time, but when I watched Namibia play, actually they played pretty well.
They have players who play franchisee leagues.
Yeah.
David Visa is playing. He played for Dutch நினைக்கிறேன். And
Mm.
5 or 6 years he moved to Namibia. So
Mm.
they have players and Kuti nation and not much of cricket. But
Mm.
if you see them in the associate category, it's a very good team.
ஆமா. So எனக்கு வந்து some part when I watched some of, I thought, I mean, obviously they couldn't pull off 10 overs 122. That was just, I think, unfair, I think, to
Yeah.
start off. But they didn't just get bundled for like,
Mm.
30 or 40. They went on, and at some stage the run rate was like really hard. I was just curious if they had started a little bit tempo முன்னாடி, could they have hit like 100, 110? அது கொஞ்சம் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா இருந்திருக்கும். But yeah.
Yeah, but the group was interesting because of the rain of or abandoned game between England and Scotland. That
Scotland, correct.
in
Braveheart படம்
England,
மாதிரி
uh,
Braveheart படம் மாதிரி எழுது.
England had to win both the games with the superior regret, and Nethiki's match they wished that rain stopped that they could have a game. So if
Right.
that match also was abandoned, Scotland would have gone through. But to be fair with the Scottish, they played a very very
Yeah.
good game against Australia.
எடுத்துக்கோ எடுத்துக்கோ மச்சான். ஏய் உயிர் எடுத்துன்னு ஏன்டா என் உயிர் எடுக்கிற? அதெல்லாம் கிடைச்சிருச்சுல, கிளம்பு போ.
Right.
So
Yeah, see, I think if they had little bit more experience when they had a great start, I think in 10 overs they're almost close to 100, 105 for one or two wickets. கொஞ்சம் பேஸ் பண்ணி ஆடி இருந்தாங்கன்னா, like the next 3-4 overs, if they had played reasonably slow, hitting 6-7 runs per over, with wickets in hand, they could have really pushed 190, 195, and that extra 15-17 runs would have really pushed Australia because they started their bowling really well. I was impressed with their spin bowling with the left arm bowler and the right arm spinner, right? And both of them, I think Watt was the left armer and right armer.
and Sterling didn't play the last two games also.
Yeah.
So their designate captain didn't play.
Yeah.
So I thought they played very well, but even the England game, there were 90 or 104 no-loss in 10 overs. And then the rain came. So
Correct,
we don't know
correct.
what could have happened in
You're
that
right.
game also. So
Correct.
hard luck, that's what I will tell Scotland. But England and Australia grew through to the Super Reds. Now for Group C, which is Group C now, Afghanistan and West Indies qualified, and the interesting fact was the Kiwis, who are very good when in the ICC tournaments, got out very very cheaply, or they were not to the party.
ஆனா படிச்சதெல்லாம் பெங்களூர்ல ஹாஸ்டல்லே இருந்துட்டேன் சொந்தக்காரங்க இந்த ஊருக்கு வந்து
சும்மா டைம் பாஸ்.
See, this was another team. I don't know, they didn't practice enough. There are some talks about them not having enough games together as a unit. I don't know what happened. It was terrible. And one of the shots, even I saw Kane Williamson slip வச்சிருக்காங்க. Slip practice கொடுக்குற மாதிரி கரெக்டா அப்படியே கொடுத்தான் practice. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was like terrible. I saw நம்மளோட சிஎஸ்கே பாய் சாண்ட்னருக்கு பேட்டிங் கொடுக்கறச்சு டமால்னு he was trying to make a game out of it towards the end, 6 அடிச்சு.
See, Kiwis strategically are the best or one of the best teams in world cricket. That game against the West Indies was 105 or whatever, 5
Or 9.
or 9.
Yes.
In 19th over, why did you give it to Mitchell?
Correct.
19 runs. Then
Maybe they called
Sandler,
Ruturaj Gaikwad and asked him, "Yaar kudna."
and last over Standard, he gave 20 something, and they finished for 140 or 150.
149, correct.
Ah,
Yeah.
and then Gatam on the Murray.
Mm.
So, I don't understand the strategy itself, because they are the best in strategy on the Murray. So they have to also go to the drawing board to see what is happening with them, because they were maybe one of the favorites in the group, because
Yep.
it was a tough group with West Indies and Afghanistan, but nobody thought the Kiwis will go out in
Correct.
this stage. Now, to go to the last group, it is still open now. Only South Africa have qualified.
Mm.
Bangladesh is number 2 on the table, and number 3 is Netherlands. But Netherlands skill to could qualify because they play Bangladesh tonight, and they have to win by a huge margin to qualify.
Mm.
But it seems that Bangla are have one foot in. But
Nagin,
we will see.
the Nagin dance.
So we will see. But the interesting bit is Sri Lanka in the group.
Mm.
Very, very pathetic performance by Sri Lanka in the group.
கொட்டுங்கள சொல்றேன் கொட்டுங்க கொட்டு கொட்டு நல்லா கொட்டு அவன் படுத்து பல நாள் ஆச்சு வைத்திய செலவு பண்ண இல்லாம உட்கார வச்சிட்டு இருக்க.
And firstly, there are implications for all this. The teams that did not make it to Super 8 have to play the qualifiers the next World Cup, right? So that will be interesting in 2026 when they come over. And Sri Lanka, I don't know, they didn't have their act together in any of these things.
But
And
good team in paper, but
Yeah.
nothing, got them together, or nothing they tried got them any luck.
correct. And bowling, they had like number having Patirana and having like who's the other?
Tishna, to Sara,
Yeah,
and one day do was the captain.
correct.
So you have 4 great bowlers, but
Correct.
you couldn't do anything.
Amma.
So they have to go back to the drawing board, because they are becoming a minnows in the test nation. Afghanistan are 2 or 3 places above Sri Lanka in
Correct.
white ball cricket. Okay. So if they don't get their act together in the next 1 or 2 years, maybe ICC will relegate them to a associate, or they have to play qualifiers for every ICC tournament. That is what will happen.
Interesting, na? If Sri Lanka got out, we thought it's going to be Bangladesh. If Netherlands makes it, and then if Scotland had made it in the previous one, and then in the last pool, if somebody like Nepal had made it, right, it would have been like really weird to have like 4 top nations out.
I saw an interview where they say Nepal is the next biggest thing because of their love for cricket as a nation. Andamari. So we will see what happens. Now, so we have 7 qualifiers: India, US, Australia, England, South Africa, West Indies, Afghanistan, and most probably Bangladesh. Or we will see what Netherlands plays today. Now to the coach corner, where we see the who India will play and win, and what are the chances for India, and what combination they have to play. Okay. So before that, if you didn't follow the seeding for the World Cup, the last World Cup, the 8 teams which finished of 1 to 8 were seeded by the ICC before the event. Okay. So in India's group, India was number one, Pakistan was number two. In England's group, England was number one and Australia was number two in the seeding. But Australia finished number one and England finished number two. But that is not how the teams rack up in the Super 8s. And we will also we will play Australia in the Super 8s. That is how the format was designed before the World Cup.
Information is wealth.
Now to our first game. First game Afghanistan, but we will also talk about what are the groups which qualified. So Group A, we have India who qualified, South Africa, West Indies, and England in Group A. And Group B, Australia, Afghanistan, USA, and maybe Bangladesh. So one team from Group A will play 4 games against the teams in Group B, and that is how the Super 8s are done. And in that table, the top 4 teams will go into the semi-finals. Okay. So first game is on Thursday. India versus Afghanistan.
படைப்பா ரொம்ப நேரம் எடுத்துக்காத சீக்கிரமா முடிச்சிட்டு வீட்டுக்கு வந்து
சரிம்மா.
Yeah, Afghanistan is a very good team, and with spin being is going to play a big part in the whole West Indies pitches. They have 3 people who have played a lot of IPL, who have been sort of good. You have Rashid Khan, you have Noor Ahmed, and you have Nabi, right? And all the 3 are going to come to play at some form.
I think Mujib will also be fit.
Mujib, okay. So then they have to pick
4.
1 or 4, right?
Ah.
It's going to be interesting. So for us, the one combination which we all are expecting from India's side is to counter that. ஒரு பேஸ் bowler உட்கார வச்சுட்டு will be bringing in most probably Kuldeep is what the expectation is to see. Then you'll have Kuldeep, you'll have Akshar who's bowled really well. Jadeja has been a little off, but obviously Jadeja is our champion bowler.
He's not got any chances.
Correct.
The Murray.
So, and the spin part is going to come into the picture. The other thing for Afghanistan is they've got players because of IPL exposure. Then at least another 3-4 solid players who can bat well. Right? You have Gulbuddin at the top and Gurbaz, right? And then you see the IPL names, there are people there. And these guys are all pretty solid shots. Summala adikkiradilla. So they are going to give a good fight. But India being India, we expect them to come up on top.
Yeah. If they drop Siraj, because we will need dead bowler, and I think it will be Arshdeep and Bumrah in the death. So Akshar maybe will get 2 overs in the power play is what I'm thinking also. One more factor we have to keep in mind in the Caribbean is the wind factor. So the wind factor in each ground, when the wind blows into the other side, and if the other side is a shorter side, then 6 are parakom. Okay. But if the wind blows in the opposite direction, and if this is the shorter side, then the wind will aid the bowler because the ball will not fly. So statistically, we will see how the captains are tapped. But Afghanistan have played in the Caribbean this World Cup. India are yet to play.
Correct. The
Maybe
good point on the wind. நேத்திக்கே when Scotland were playing, they were taking super advantage of that wind. They செமையா அடிச்சிருந்தாங்க. And whether it's going to be an Ilayaraja song with the wind or தேவர் மகன்ல வந்து தப்பான சைடுல அடிச்சா வெறும் காத்து தாங்க வருதுன்னு சொல்ற மாதிரி பேட்ல அடிக்கிறச்சே பால் போகாதுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
I hope Kohli gets into the runs. It was a tough wicket, so we can excuse him for the dismissals in New York, but this pitch should aid him. So we will see what they do and how they play. Maybe they are coming back to the ODI format where they are aggressive, but not ultra aggressive like New York.
Correct.
So
see, after playing IPL, where எல்லாமே அடின்னு அடிச்சிட்டு, I think New Yorkல like 3 games with I think other game got washed out. It was swinging to the other end. Now it's reasonably, you're right. It's coming to sort of in the middle where they still have to be a little guarded, but it'll be
Yeah.
if you play smart cricket, you can still score well.
I think in the entire tournament now so far, there has been only 200 plus crore. In the Caribbean, 160 or 170 is par. Okay. So and Australia had one score over 200. That's the only score over 200 in the entire World Cup till now. So I think 150, 160 is par. Maybe 170 is winning score in some grounds, and some grounds are konjo koti, some grounds are konjo large. So we will see, because the first game is in Barbados, Bridgetown, and the second game we are playing on Monday against or Saturdays, back to back. The Super 8s are with 1 or 2 days rest only. So Saturday we will play with either Bangladesh or Netherlands.
அம்மா அந்த கடப்பாரை எடு. கவுன்சிலருக்கு கடப்பாரையா?
Oh, it's not Australia, is it? Okay.
The third game is with Australia. So that is a new ground. I don't think we have ever played in the ground, but there have been matches there. But we have to see what the ground itself gives on the money. And then the third match is on Monday. So with Australia, it is at Gross. I think Australia is the tougher game.
ஆஸ்திரேலியாக்காரனை பத்தி தெரியாதுடி, அவன் எல்லாம் பைத்தியக்காரங்கடி. அடிச்சானா ஒத்த கால வச்சு அடிச்சான் பாத்தியா, பைத்தியக்காரங்க அடிச்சு போவாங்கடி.
And if we breeze past Afghanistan, then we have a chance to get into the semi-finals. That is my gut, but we will see how the pitches, how the wind, how the dimensions of the game, the strategy, and more so the rain factor.
Interesting. It feels like the kind of classification பார்த்தா India, England, South Africa, and West Indies seem to be a stronger pool
because of the seeding. So England was seeded 1 in the group, but West Indies was seeded 2 in the group, but they and the last team was seeded also 2 on the money. So Group A 1, Group B 1, Group C 2, through Group D 2. But the seating was predefined before the World Cup started.
That made no sense actually.
Maybe they wanted India to play in the grounds where you don't know what the ICC is doing. So but it was predefined before the World Cup startup. But they said it is predefined so that the fans can know where their teams are playing and book early.
Yeah, okay. I get that part, but it's still giving feelings to a team before even the tournament starts when it's all dynamic, right? So
Yeah, I mean, அந்த மாதிரி. So that's a wrap for the group stage, and we are eagerly looking forward to the Super 8s. We will come back to you after the Super 8s to do a preview of the semi-finals next week, because the turnaround time for every video is only 1 day, because India plays a game in 2 days. So
correct.
we can't do a video so fast. So we will come back after the Super 8s and then see who India will play in the semi-finals. So do subscribe, like, and share this video. Till next time, bye.